I started this YouTube channel in earnest, well, nearly 4 years ago now, if I think about it. It's been a hell of a ride. I've enjoyed every single moment, the good and the bad. It's turned into a bit of a news channel, bit of a community, bit of everything, really. And one thing I don't talk about enough is my life as a taxi driver. Now, if this is something you want to hear more about, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on that. One of the things that people are always interested in is stories. And I entitled this video, Three Unbelievable Stories from the Back Seat. And I sat here thinking of three stories I can tell you to do with my 13 or so years as a taxi driver. Now, the first one happened a few years ago. And I was on what they call a circuit, which is the technical name for driving around town, picking people up. This is before I started airports. I got a job to a pub to pick up a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Well, I definitely knew they were that by the time I got them home. They told me where they wanted to go, and I was driving along. And a short while into the journey, I started hearing noises. Oh, right. So I looked in my rear view mirror to check everything was going okay, and I wish I didn't. All I could see was this lady's head appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, and I quickly realised what they were up to. I think the term "get a room" springs to mind. I thought, what do I do here? Oh my God. Shit, I get them to where they're going ever so quickly. I should have done an emergency stop, come to think of it. I got them to where they were going, kicked them out, and I even got paid for the privilege. Most expensive good time that man had in the back of a cab, I can assure you. And when I phoned the office, I didn't know what to put, because when you ban people, you see, you have to put a reason why they're not allowed back in the cab. And I had to help them with that. It's got to be the most obscene thing I've ever seen. Story number two. I'm just at the end of a shift, and I get a job through to take two people from an address very near my house to the local Pilgrim's Hospice, which again was very near my house. So I thought, okay, I'll do this job, and then I go home. I picked the lady and her daughter up, and we're on the way. And the conversation that they were having led me to believe that they'd had that awful call that no one likes to receive. And you know the kind of call I mean. And I said to them, you know, are we going there for why I think we're going there? And they said yes. So I got there. And when we pulled over, they said to me, how much do we owe you? And considering why we were going there, I didn't feel right charging them, so I didn't. I said, inside the door there to the Pilgrim's Hospice, because they rely purely on donations, there's a donation box. Here is what the fare should have been. Put the fare in that box. And we parted company, didn't think anything more of it. Now, the best of it was, days later, I went to see my father. My father told me that his friend passed away in the hospice a few days before. And when his wife and daughter went to see him to say their goodbyes, the taxi driver never charged them. My dad never knew for 1 second that that taxi driver was me. So you see all sorts. And the last one, I pick a lady up, and I go to take her to her daughter's. We get to her daughter's, and her daughter, heavily pregnant, and she's on the doorstep clutching her. Oh, she's gone into labour. And I looked, I thought, she needs to get to a hospital now. So I said, come on, in the car. Oh, I've got to wait for my husband. I've got to wait for my husband. Okay, so get on the phone. And the husband said, is the taxi driver there? Yeah, he said he'd take me. Get in the car, woman, is what they said. So in the car we went up to the hospital with the mother and the daughter. And what they wanted to pay me. I said, no. I said, the only payment I want is to know, is it a boy or a girl? And that everything's healthy. And you know what? They did call me and let me know that, which I thought was lovely. And that day when I reported it in, apparently I was the second taxi driver of the day that had baby labour issues in the back of my cab. Only the other one never made it to hospital. I was lucky enough to do so. So there you go, 3 taxi stories from the vaults of Andy the Gabby. Cabby, if this is the kind of thing you want to hear more of, then please let me know in the comments. If you want to see another one of my taxi-related videos, you can do that right there. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.